What is up, college football fans? What is up, Clemson Tiger fans? Happy Sunday to everybody. It's a beautiful day here in Summerville, South Carolina. As always, it's a beautiful day to be above ground, and of course, it's a beautiful day to be a Clemson Tiger. Welcome to the October the 16th edition of State of the Fan, where me, Pigskin Pete, as a Clemson Tiger fan, tells you the state of fandom according to me. So, a win last night over rival ACC team Florida State down in Tallahassee. This was a frustrating game to watch, I'm not going to lie. Clemson dominated the second and third quarter, got off to a little bit of a slow start, was allowing Florida State to move the ball. Settled down in the second quarter. Was plus 10 in the point margin, both in the second and third quarter, and it was starting to look like Clemson was on their way to a statement win, a statement blowout. You say, well, how could that be a statement win, Pete? That's against an unranked team. Well, it's Florida State, it's on the road. Florida State's lost a couple of really, really close games in the past couple of weeks that they easily could have won. And at times, Florida State shows flashes of being a really good football team. We saw that week one against LSU. Say what you want to about LSU. LSU's not a scrub team. They're sitting there with 2 losses in the SEC, but they're not a scrub team. Anyway, I feel like that Clemson missed an opportunity last night to make a statement. They should have blown Florida State out. They took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. This is something that was very frustrating to see offensively, was them take their foot off the gas and allow Florida State to hang around when they really didn't have any business hanging around by the fourth quarter. The play calling, I know I continue to harp on this each week with the quarterback run game. I know what the strategy here was. The strategy was, we're up considerably. It's the fourth quarter. Our defense right now is playing dominant. Let's just not turn the ball over and make any mistakes, which they did a great job of doing. They didn't turn up. Clemson's turnover margin this entire season is amazing. It's one of the reasons that they're undefeated right now, really. But the idea was, let's just run the ball, chew as much clock as we can, make it harder for them to try to make a comeback. I get the strategy there, and that's a safe strategy, and that's fine. But on 3rd and 18, and you call a quarterback draw a run play, you're not trying to get a first down. How many percentage, what's the percentage of that happening? A quarterback run play deep in your own territory on 3rd and 18. They picked up like 2 and had to punt. I mean, the defense in this game, for the most part, played great. But if you look at the stat sheet on this, this reminds me a lot of the NC State win. Is if you watch the game and then you look at the box scores, you think, and you look at the scoreboard, you might think this game was a lot closer than it really was. Florida State had no business having even a 10% chance at the end of this game to tie it up or win it. They had no business doing that. Clemson let them do that. They got soft. They stopped. They got away from what was working for them during the second and third quarter, starting playing conservative. You guys know the deal, blah, blah, blah. It's very frustrating to watch. Now, look, I know I sound like a sour puss, but Clemson's sitting there undefeated right now. Offensively, a little bit more of what we've seen the past couple of weeks, sort of a roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down. We ran the ball very well. DJ played good, didn't play great, missed a couple of open receivers. Some receivers dropped the ball. There was one play where he just, if he'd had 2 more seconds, he had a wide open receiver for a touchdown. Just didn't happen. So just it's a lot of little things. It's just, as a fan, and I know you guys can relate to this, just a little thing here or there that swing the game 7 points, 10 points. Very frustrating for a team like Clemson. Look, Clemson is just superior to Florida State right now. Their roster's superior and their coaching superior. I think Florida State's headed in the right direction. But Clemson should have won this game by 14 points or more. Yes, they covered the spread. Yes, they won the game. That's all that matters. Yes, they're in the driver's seat right now in the Atlantic Division. Again, a little bit frustrated that they didn't make a statement last night and put it on them, you know. I'm shooting this video before the AP polls are released. So by the time this video gets uploaded, maybe the AP poll will be out by then. I'm expecting that next week when Syracuse travels to Clemson, they should be in the top 15. They were 18th last week. I'm assuming they're going to move up 16, 15, 14 range, somewhere around there in today's poll. And I expect Clemson to drop. They were 4 last week. I expect them to drop to 5 because Michigan's not moving. Georgia's not moving. Alabama might drop. Tennessee's going to move up into the top 3, in my opinion. Obviously, Ohio State's probably going to be stuck at number 1 or number 2. Anyway, so that doesn't really matter because we're still a couple of weeks away from the CFP ranking coming out. But the CFP is going to be comparing teams like Clemson and Alabama and some of these other teams, you know, that might have a loss that are in that top range between now and then. And they're going, okay, so let's look at some of these dominating wins here. And Clemson right now, at least as far as the scoreboard's concerned, not really dominating anybody, right? Got out of Wake Forest with a win, double overtime. Really did kind of beat the crap out of NC State, but they only won by 10 because Clemson allowed them a trash touchdown at the end of the game. Then we had the game last night against Florida State. We'll see what happens with Syracuse. Look, Syracuse is a team, and I feel like a broken record right now. Syracuse is a team that gives Clemson trouble in recent years. Dino Babers against Dabo Swinney, I don't know what it is. But Syracuse is going to give Clemson their best shot, right? They're undefeated right now. They're feeling good about themselves. Obviously, coming into Death Valley, that's a huge home field advantage for the Tigers, having won 37 straight. But if you get caught slipping and sleepwalking through 1 or 2 quarters and allow Syracuse to hang around in this game like you allowed Florida State to hang around last night, you might end up catching an L. Clemson needs to go out in this game and make a statement against Syracuse. Look, I'll be happy with a win, the same way I was happy with the win last night. But last night, Clemson gave up 460 yards or so of offense to Florida State. Over 200 yards in rushing to Florida State. This is a team that nobody's supposed to be able to run on. And going into Syracuse, Syracuse, in my opinion, has a better offense than Florida State does. So they need to put it all together. I just feel like that here we are going into week 8 now. Clemson has been like a roller coaster. Some of these games they should have dominated, they didn't dominate. I feel like they need to make a statement this week. Put it all together. We haven't seen them put 4 quarters together on both sides of the ball yet. They need to do it this week. But again, they're in the driver's seat in the division and in the conference at this point, definitely in the division. The way it stands right now, if Clemson takes care of business and beats Syracuse in Death Valley next week, then they get a bye. Then they get Notre Dame, which the Notre Dame game right now is looking a little bit less important because, well, it really depends on what happens with Syracuse next week. But assuming that Clemson beats Syracuse like they should, then the Notre Dame game is not really that important because it's not technically a conference game. And then the week after that, they get to play Louisville. And if they beat Louisville, then that will clinch the Atlantic Division. For Clemson, they'll be in the driver's seat. And as far as the playoff situation is concerned, I don't really think one loss to Notre Dame, as long as they stay undefeated in the ACC, is going to matter in the playoff picture. I think a 12-1 ACC championship Clemson team with a loss to Notre Dame would still get in. Certainly an undefeated team, 13-0, would definitely get in. But anyway, I'm cautiously optimistic at this point. I just need to see them put it all together. They're way too talented and way too good this season to be letting teams like Florida State stick around. And it's no disrespect to Florida State. It's not. They're just not able to compete with Clemson right now. Clemson is 5 points, way more than 5 points better than Florida State. I don't care if you played in Tallahassee or on the moon. That shouldn't have happened last night. But of course, I'm happy with the win. That's it. So we'll see what happens next week. Noon kickoff between the Orange Man, the Fruit, and Clemson. I wish it was a night game. Night games in the Valley, a lot tougher to win than new games, but the fans will show up and show out. Syracuse is going to come to play, and I think they're going to have a good game plan. And I hope that this team can put 4 quarters together for the first time this season and leave no doubt. That's Dabo's words, leave no doubt. It's time. We're getting into the time now. We're more than halfway through the season. It's time to stop effing around. And let's do this thing. All right, leave your questions, comments, concerns below. If you're new here, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe button because I do these college football videos year round. There is no off season for Pigsky and Pete. All right, guys, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Your boy checking out.